Welcome, everybody, to On the Capo Stand. I'm John here with my friend Ahmed. Ahmed, how are you doing?
John, it's Monday, man. I'm doing great. I'm doing better than
Yeah.
some people that we're going
Oh,
to be
yeah.
talking about today.
And also with us is David.
What's
David?
happening, guys?
Oh, a lot to talk about tonight. Everybody knows what's going on, kind of a little bit with the team. A lot of questions about what's going on with the transfers and you know who's staying, who's going, who's coming to the team, when they're going to be joining the team, if they're joining the team, all of that stuff. So let's jump right on into what everybody is talking about all over the world, and I'm not joking about that. Orlando City once again showing how massive of a club we are, making teams in a league that some consider sixth or seventh best league in the world, the championship over in England, and that's the whole Duncan Mcguire saga. So for those to kind of give the story, and then I'll get your guys' opinion on it. So towards the beginning of the year, the club offered Duncan a new contract because he was only making the standard draftee minimum, which was $84,000 a year. You guys know professional athletes generally get paid a lot more than that, especially in this game. So Duncan had a good year. Him and the club unfortunately couldn't come to an agreement. From what I understand, is that he was saying, "Well, I want this much," and the club's like, "Well, you only did 1 year. Let's be realistic here and see what you do in year two, and maybe we can reassess. Sign this, and then let's go forward." So he didn't sign. So the club started shopping around, found a couple clubs to offer loans and stuff like this, and then um, last week, 2 weeks ago, Blackburn Rovers approached the club and started negotiating with the club to have a sale of Duncan effective immediately. Negotiations took place, and then on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, I think it looked like Duncan was going to Blackburn. He was going to be a member of Blackburn, was going to be joining them on a full transfer. I don't recall the fee. I think it was in the neighborhood of $3 million. And then, everything seems good to go. And then we wake up, or I'm sorry, during the day on Wednesday, while Duncan's in the air, he left training in Mexico to go over to England to do the physical and sign the paperwork and make everything official. And then while he was in the air, Blackburn took the deal off the table and said, "No, we can't do it." And a little history on Blackburn: they're notorious for being not very good at transfers. Last year, I believe there were two different transfers that they let fall through. One player wasn't even able to play um, any competitive soccer last year because his transfer fell through. Um, so that's where it was left. It left Sheffield Wednesday, and I can't the name of the other team. I couldn't pronounce if I wanted to. Back on the table negotiating. We all, if you're on Eastern time, go to bed. Wake up the next morning. All of a sudden, Duncan's going to Blackburn on a 6-month loan with an option to buy, option to purchase. And guess what? The club doubled his transfer fee. Said, "Well, you guys wanted to play this last time. We want $7 million for him." It was signed. Again, seemed like Duncan was joining Blackburn for 6 months, and then potentially they could purchase him again, purchase his contract, and join the team permanently. Of course, that was pending if they stayed up in the championship. If they got relegated, Duncan probably wasn't going to be joining them and would have came back and played, maybe a couple weeks in July, if that, for Orlando City, and then probably join another club in July or August. And then that brings us to Saturday, late morning, early afternoon. Turns out that the deal may have fallen through yet again because Blackburn, we're just going to start calling it Pool to Blackburn because they've done this 2 straight January transfer windows in a row. Something was wrong with their filing of the paperwork. It was really unsure what it was. Nobody really knew. Duncan was at their match on over the weekend. Looked like he was joining, and then it came out, Saturday that looks like the deal may not be going through because something happened. Nobody was really unsure what. And then since Saturday, it's kind of came out that it had something to do with the paperwork. Wasn't necessarily how last year they didn't submit it in time. It was some other particulars. And then there was supposed to be a decision tonight from the championship, from the league. And that nothing's came about it yet. It looks like it's not going to go through. We know Duncan is flying back to rejoin Orlando tomorrow on Tuesday. And, basically Blackburn has to there's basically 3 options that they have. And, one of those is to appeal, or the first one is that the EFL says that Duncan can join Blackburn and everything goes on as planned. The second one is they say, nope, it's no good. He has to rejoin his old club, and you guys are left without a signing this, your big signing this transfer window. And then Blackburn appeals, and that appeal can take months to do. Potentially, the earliest that it may take would be March, at the very earliest, and even then, that kind of puts the club between Orlando City between a rock and a hard place, because then Duncan's kind of in limbo. Do you play him? Do you not? And then the final option is basically the EFL says that Duncan can't join them, and Blackburn just decides to wait until their season's over and wait until the summer transfer window opens up to either sign him on a loan or for him to join them permanently. And that's all barring seeing what happens with their season, because right now they're in a relegation battle to go into League One, and the drop from Championship to League One financially is a huge drop, and they just wouldn't be able to afford Duncan, and if Duncan probably wouldn't even want to join them in League One, and it's nothing against League One. Duncan just feels and has showed last year that he was a much better player than a League One caliber player. So that's the saga. There's a lot to unpack there. If you guys you get your guys' opinion on it, what you guys think, and then we'll start with Ahmed and then go down to David.
The thing that really got me about that whole situation, I mean, it was a messed up situation regardless. I did not believe it when I saw that Blackburn were trying to get Brecalo's signature on top of everything else. That was the first part. I was like, part of me was like, wait a minute. Does somebody from our friends down south know somebody over at Blackburn, and are they trying to screw with us or what? I was like, it was just unbelievable. It was like a soap opera. Those 72 hours for us, I can't even imagine for Duncan. I was saying I'd love to be a fly on the wall during these meetings that they have. I'm curious as to how professional they actually are, because I could see things going out the window really quick once that happened. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the typical protocol, but yeah, man. I mean, that's a really tough spot for him. I feel bad for him. I just hope that if he does come back, regardless, that the fans are accepting of him. I'll put it that way. You know what I mean? Because some people don't know all of that, and they're like, "Oh, you wanted to leave, and you're here." So, that's what we don't need. Let's enjoy him while we have him, and if he needs to go, he needs to go. But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, man. I just hope it all works out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the other side of that, Ahmed, to be honest with you, because we don't want it to be another Chris Mueller situation.
I don't think we'll get to that.
For those that don't remember, Chris Mueller signed a pre-contract agreement. That's the wrong phrase, but basically signed to be transferred once Orlando City season was over back in 2021. And we saw a big difference in Mueller after he signed that. He didn't seem to have the motor or the intensity that he had,
Okay.
back before he signed it. And not saying that'll happen with Duncan, but it's kind
Yeah.
of, you did, two strikes against you. You didn't want to sign the the offer that
The new
Orlando City
contract, yeah.
for the new contract, and then you kind of push and rush a sale to a team in a relegation battle when, from my opinion on it is he only had 1 year. How
Mhm.
many guys do we know come out their rookie year in any sport, have an amazing rookie year,
Sophomore
That's true.
slump, yeah.
and then they have a huge sophomore slump, and it's,
Yeah.
and they, if they never return,
Well,
they never
I gotta
return to
tell
who they
you,
were.
as a EFL aficionado as I am, I'm not gonna crap on the Blackburn fan base. I know what it means to stay in the championship. I understand that part. My club, Stevenage, right now is trying to get to the promised land of the championship for the first time in its history, and it hasn't been easy. You have League One promotes top two. The third spot is through playoffs, relegates bottom four. If the National League is the toughest league to get out of, the second hardest league to get promoted from is League One. It's by design done that way. That way, teams are less likely to get relegated from the championship, and they can cultivate themselves into being EPL candidates. And that's the way the system is. The English pyramid, it's 10 levels strong, the most out of any country in the world. And for a country of 56 million people, that to me that's impressive. I don't think that Duncan's desire to leave is should be seen as a betrayal or anything like that. He knows his worth. We have said this before. At the end of the day, Duncan is just, it looks like a baseball player, corn-fed kid from Omaha, Nebraska. I don't know you guys, but last time a great player came out of Omaha, Nebraska was Jason Christ. And and those are the facts, my friends. Those are the facts. It's flyover country. This kid has the goods, and Blackburn really needed a player like that. The player that John was talking about was a player that came out of um God, the name of the team is our friend Daniel's team, Nottingham Forest. Sorry. And what ended up happening is they got promoted to the EPL. This one player was going to sign with Rovers. Rovers fumbled the bag. He couldn't play for them. Um, Forrest was like, "Hey, we're not gonna use you in the EPL. We don't think you're a EPL caliber player." And the guy fell in a limbo, which is unfair to a guy like that because every year that you're playing it doesn't come back. Your career is 10, 15 years long at best. And for people that are in League One, League Two, they most likely make as much money as you and I working our jobs with bachelor's degree. And people in the championship, they make a little bit more money. So we took away money from that guy, and obviously the EPL. That's when you start making the millions. Um, in the event that Blackburn gets relegated to League One, I don't see them spending $7 million for a player. If that was the case, I will be making phone calls at my club Stevenage to go get that guy right now. The fact of the matter, I actually watched the highlights. Um, uh, Blackburn played this past Saturday, QPR at home, falling 2-1. Disastrous. They still have a fan base that's supporting them, but you can see by the size of the stadium that their pass was glorious. Unfortunately, look, the fact of the matter is when you have teams in big metropolitan areas, like in this case Manchester, you got faithful people, and you got people that are like, well, they're not winning. Let me find another team in the area that is winning, and that team could be anybody, and they go and support that. Bolton right now is doing fantastic in League One, so let's go watch those guys. So I mean, you gotta remember that the English fan sees going to watch football as entertainment, and yes, there's a cultural aspect to it, and a local pride to the teams. But why go spend money on Blackburn if they're gonna get relegated? That's how a lot of people see it. The standings right now, they with 15 games left, Blackburn is in the 18th position. Let me see how many points they have. They have 33 points, and the last wow, I didn't even know this. QPR is actually in the relegation zone. So um, that's only 3 points. No, 5 points above safety. Anything can happen. QPR already put 3 points. Stoke City, Birmingham. This is Huddersfield. These guys start battling, and you never know. Sheffield Wednesday may pull it off. Who knows? I think Rotherham is gonna go down to League One, like a stone. But those are the facts, and I don't know. I think whoever's advising Duncan should let him know that like we said it on the last show, the English fan is very short fuse. You don't come produce and get off my club, because if you get relegated, people lose their jobs. It's very difficult to get promoted. A lot of people here in the States love to say promotion relegation because they follow EPL powerhouses that will never smell the relegation zone. But as somebody that follows the lower league English football, I can tell you that the threat of your team dying, your team disappearing, is always there. Right now in League One, there's a team that may be in danger of ceasing to exist, and that's something that we have to be cognizant all the time, and that team is Reading. Reading has issues. They started the league with 8 point deduction, and right now they are barely escaping the relegation zone by 5 points. But things can happen. They're playing Stevenage tomorrow, and I gotta be honest with you, Stevenage is gonna put him away because we're on a warpath. So that's all I gotta say. Unfortunate situation. This is how I see. Before we move on to another topic, this is how I see how it may happen with Duncan. Duncan indeed will return on his rookie deal, making, I think it's league minimum, which is 70 something thousand dollars, which is what basically your middle class family guy that has a bachelor's degree and work in a regular company makes. I know that's offensive to a lot of people that a player of this caliber is making that little, but it is what it is. You got to remember that they're taking a leap of faith. The clubs are taking a leap of faith when they draft these guys. Not everybody's going to be a Duncan. So we bring him down here. He excels because he's that type of competitor. The people that are going to be like, oh, you're going to bench him, screw him, I'm not going to cheer for him. You're a moron. We don't need that. We don't need that. We need to support the guy. He's a young man that just wants to do good in the world, and I'm not gonna stand in the middle of that. I'm gonna support him or whatever he wants to do. And if we have that attitude that we don't support the players because they don't want to do what we want to do, then you set the precedence that this is what's gonna happen, and you're gonna prove that douchebag of Justin Merriam right. That here we are nice to people, and that has an expiration date. Finally, he comes out. He does well. We go into the summer where he's going to be in the Olympics. He does well there, and then we can sell the guy to another team. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be Blackburn. Perhaps another team in the championship, or who knows, a team in the EPL may take a swing at him, and we make some money for a player that we contributed nothing in his growth, nothing in his college career, nothing in his academy, and also it proves to a lot of people that you don't have to do the academy route. You don't have to be in a big city. As long as you have talent, you're gonna find out. The life finds a way. You're gonna find yourself in Europe if you want. So that, guys, is my take on it. As a father, I'm old enough to be Duncan's dad. It would be devastating. You see how close he is with his parents and his family, and it's a young kid, man. It's a young kid that just wants to do good. And Duncan, if you get to hear this, I'm gonna be the loudest voice out of those terraces. And I pray that you find yourself to Stevenage. That's let's pray, make that into a reality. Because if Stevenage gets promoted to the championship, I already got the chairman's phone on speed dial. So that's it, guys. What else?
We got a couple comments, Ahmed, if you want to read them, and then we'll move.
Yeah,
we'll move
sure,
on.
sure. Let me bring them up. Here we go. Muy Rico Suave says, "What's up, y'all? What is up?"
What's going
What's
on?
happening, guy?
And then we have Fred's Dead. He says, "See, you want to leave, you leave and don't come back."
Well, unfortunately, he's knocking at the door saying, "Will you take me back?" And I will tell him, "Take you back for what? Nothing has
Definitely.
happened."
So don't forget, everybody. We're all over social media. Every Monday, we're live on Twitch, X, at On the Capo Stand, Facebook On the Capo Stand, and YouTube. YouTube David's channel 76. We're also on TikTok at On the Capo Stand, Threads at On the Capo Stand, Blue Sky at On the Capo Stand. If you want to join us live, you can join us using video. Just hit us up at one of our social medias. Send us a DM. We'll send you over the link. You can join, give your opinion, join the conversation about what's going on with the club. Really anything involving Orlando City soccer that you want to talk about, we're here for. Just hit us up on that on social media, send us a DM, and we'll shoot you over the link and you can join. And it doesn't have to be video. If you don't want to show your face and just want to use your voice, feel free to do that. And if you don't want to be heard, you can also shoot us a comment, and we go through the comments as the show goes on. So next we have potential. We'll do club news first. Really, the only club news. The boys should be back in town now from their little trip for training camp in Mexico. And they'll be starting training over down in Kissimmee at Heritage Park. And the season's only 2 weeks away this Saturday, so it's coming up
Yeah.
very quickly. All right, next we have some new potential. Nothing's been made official by the club yet. Additions to the club, signings, people we picked up during this transfer window. The first one is David Brecalo. He is a center back. We got him from Viking. He won Defender of the Year in his league this past year. He's 25 years old. Very exciting guy to have, another young talent to have at center back along with Rodrigo Schlegel, plus the guys that we have coming up from the academy. And we got our center backs we're pretty depth. Our depth is pretty good right now. We got 5 guys that can play center back now with the addition of Brecalo. We got Robin Janssen. We got Williams, we got Schlegel, and we got Salim that can all play that center back position, as well as Kyle Smith. In an emergency, he can also swing into that center back spot if needed. And then the second potential addition to our roster, negotiations are still ongoing. More news broke tonight about this player. Ahmed, I believe we have a graphic for that one. If you want to pull it up, is Luis Muriel. Club's going after him. Seems to be a DP striker signing. Seems like the club is going after somebody even without Duncan leaving. If Duncan were to be staying, we would be still going after a high end striker.
Mm-hmm.
Muriel, um, he was being Inter Milan was also in the talks with his club to sign him on as well this transfer window. I feel like the biggest difference from what I've seen is that Orlando City wants to sign him right now, which means there would be a transfer fee. He would join the club once the papers are signed. He passes physical and he puts his name on the dotted line. He would be a part of Orlando City, whereas Inter Milan wanted to wait until the summer and his contract is up with his current club. So yeah, we're that's an exciting one. That's one that'll get people talking. With or without Duncan, that's a huge signing for us. Add some more depth. We'll see how he fits into Poppy's system. And I fully expect the Colombian striker to come in and if Duncan's still here, challenge Duncan for that starting spot. I wouldn't be all that surprised if he takes it over from him. That's no disrespect to Duncan. That's
Mm-hmm.
just the way sports is. But if he doesn't, guess what? We got a super sub on the bench that's going to knock in goals at a high rate. If you look at what he's done with Atalanta, it's and throughout his whole career, it's pretty impressive. What do you guys think about it, David? We can start with you.
Real quick, well, and real quick and short. I think Muriel is going to be a great addition, Serie A player. I expect him to take the job from Duncan because this is a guy that we're going to be paying, a DP salary. And I think it's time for DPs to come into this club and show what we're paying them the money. If you're a DP and you're on the bench and you're a super sub, I mean, you're useless to me. You know, DPs have to be starters, scorers, and game changers. If you are neither one of those things, you shouldn't be a DP. Plain and simple. About David Brecalo, the Slovenian player who is coming from the Norwegian league. Welcome. We had a lot of success recruiting from the Scandinavian leagues. The guy wants to be here. That's always a positive. And he really forced his way out. The move by Blackburn, that was wishful thinking on them on their part. I don't think now that we know how they handle Duncan Mcguire, they would have fumbled this one as well. And not for nothing, um, David has been on the league in football for a long time. He's a European. He has played for his national team, and he knows that MLS offers something that Europe doesn't: guarantee money. And he knows what happens in teams that are on relegation battles. Bills don't get paid, hot water gets cut off. Try taking a cold shower in winter in England. Uh, you know, you may not get paid. That does happen. In fact, in League One, Wigan, I always say Wigan, and Athletic, and um, the team that I mentioned before. Escapes my mind right now. But anyhow,
Nottingham Forest.
no, Nottingham
Oh,
Forest. Starts with a P. God, that's it. That play my team tomorrow, and I can't even remember. That's Reading. Sorry, it's actually where we are. Reading. They got deducted points at the beginning of the season for that, for not paying people on time. So David was like, "Hey, I can go to Greater Manchester and partake on a pile of dinosaur dong, or I could go to sunny Orlando, Florida, and get paid on time and have people chanting my name." To go back to Duncan, I thought I was done with this, but to go back to Duncan, you gotta. And I'll be brief, so Ahmed can say his thoughts. Um, Duncan is taking a huge leap of faith. He could have stayed
Hmm.
here. He could have been Orlando City runs on Duncan, man. He's faced some
Yeah.
big. I mean, and Ahmed, I would love for you to touch on this. I went to pretty much all the signings at Publix. because my goal was to get as many signatures as possible. Obviously, time distance did not allow me to get every single player. But the one that I had to wait an hour for was the one with
That was
Duncan
Duncan. Yeah, it
over there in
was. It
Oviedo.
was. I mean,
And
there's no
it was,
doubt. There's no
go ahead,
doubt
brother.
that he took that big leap of faith, like you said, and it's not an easy decision for him too. I can't imagine because you have something, so it had to be scary for him to make that choice too. So I give him a lot of credit on that
No,
one.
absolutely. And at the end of the day, he's giving out guaranteed love and affection in Orlando to go rough it out
Mhm.
in Blackburn, where they love you today, and in the summer they may be asking for you to like leave their club. That's exactly what happened with Mueller. Mueller
Yeah.
got there half a season. Everybody, yeah, yeah, yeah. There was a lot of Orlando City, not a lot, but there was a few Hibernian slash Orlando City fans that were very excited to see him in their hometown. And then at the end, they were like, "Oh man, he was just not cut out for Scottish Premiership." And let's be honest, Scottish Premiership is what it is. It's the first division of a country of 7 million people. Okay, so and he couldn't hack it there, and that's the reason why he's back in MLS. And to quote a Orlando City staffer that I spoke with, he said, some people need to understand that the best they will ever be is a MLS player, and that's okay, you know. But it is what it is, my friends. Go ahead, I mean.
Yeah. So as far as the new signings, if we think back to last show, John and I were both saying we were tired of no action, no action, no action. There's a saying, careful what you wish for, you might get it.
For sure.
And there's been nothing but action since then. So I'm definitely excited about the signings, about the transfers. Um, I just want to see how they fit into the system, how they fit with the boys, how they actually play. Because we've all seen it time and time again. We sign these people, they're great. They come here and not always so great. So, by the looks of it, yes, everything should be great. Uh, but dare I say, we've said that in the past about other signings in occasion that haven't necessarily worked out. So I hope for the best. Um, I'm optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to wait to see us play and see how it happens. There's nothing else we could do. You just got to wait and see how the dice, how everything unravels.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
John, if you allow me,
Yeah.
this Saturday, we're gonna have our Purple Pride 5K. So if you
Mhm.
want to partake on that, the time to register is now. I vastly I flirt with the idea of doing this, but I don't know. I'm a lazy 47-year-old man, and I chose not to, even though they give you the option of walking. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Maybe next year. Then on the 13th, there's a part of perspective. I know it's a little early to mention this, but I really, 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 really want people to go to this.
Yeah.
When Jared Dillon was doing the season ticket holder focus groups, this is one of the things that I suggested because my overseas teams do this every year. Because you got to remember that you're an investor in the club when you are a season ticket holder, and so people want to hear from the gaffer, right? They want to hear from the manager what's the plan, blah 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 blah. Because again, when you start seasons life or death, as we have spoken already, and I felt that in the USL era, we were very accessible. The club was very accessible to the fans, and we under the Brazilian ownership, we sort of built this huge gap between the fan base and the club, and we shouldn't have that. So, and these are your opportunity to listen from Oscar, to ask questions, and to hear his vision, right? I think if we as a fan base listen to what the man has to say, what's the plan ahead, perhaps it will smooth the roughness of the road ahead because it's not gonna be an easy season. Um, I can tell you that right now. It's gonna be a battle. I think our opportunity to lift a trophy was last year. We let it squander. So we'll see how it's gonna be. And then on the 15th, there's gonna be the jersey launch that If you're like me, uh, I can't wait. Been wanting this jersey release for a long time. There's also gonna be uh, friendly against New England at Osceola County Stadium, open to Society 21 members, and I believe also to supporter group membership. So I'm trying to sneak my way into that one. We'll see how that goes. Um, One of the things, John, not to jump ahead. And I think did we read the comment by Murico Suave?
We did not yet. If you want
Okay.
to go ahead, Ahmed.
Sure. I
Sure.
think
It
we have
says
addressed it.
Enrico Suave says, "How do you feel about the Colombian striker? Likeliness, it happens. How does he fit?"
As of right now, we feel that it's a pretty for sure thing based on the fact that who's announcing that on social media. It's somebody with a lot of reputation. Um, uh, John or Ahmed, if we can see the image in the middle on the on our chat, because I guess uh, uh John, I guess we can speak about our
But
CCC.
yeah, we can
Oh,
go ahead and talk
okay, yeah,
about that. Yep,
yeah.
that falls right in line with our next
Yeah, go ahead. Because
topic.
I spoke with this gentleman, and
Oh
I think it
yes,
has a
okay.
fantastic story that we want to
This one right
highlight.
here.
Absolutely. Go ahead and introduce the section, John, and then I'll give you guys the story. And for the folks that are listening, that we have a post that is from the Orlando City Soccer Club discussion group. This gentleman is a Orlando City supporter out of Victoria, British Columbia. So, um, yeah, John, just go ahead and give us an intro of our battle coming up in CCC, our
Yeah,
return to international football.
absolutely, absolutely. So here in 2 weeks from Wednesday, the 21st, we travel up to Vancouver, um, or Victoria, British Columbia, right? Is it Vancouver?
Correct.
Yeah,
Is Victoria?
yeah. And to play Calvary FC, lower league team. It's the highest level um, in Canada next to the MLS because they do have several teams up there. But so it's they're the highest level in Canada. That's league ran in the country of Canada. But it's honestly, a step below what the MLS is. So we go up there on the 21st, play Calvary in our first leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And then the week after that, we'll be coming back home to Orlando City Stadium and play them on the second leg. Away goals still count as the tiebreaker. So if we
Yeah.
score two up there and they come back and we end up drawing them, they end up actually beating us 1-0. We still move on. So it's crucial. We win this one, we move on to the second round. There's a bracket there. I believe if we win, we have a rematch potentially with Tigres, the club
Or
we played
Vancouver?
last year, or Vancouver. We all know who the favorite to win that match is, though. And so the team should move through to the round of 16 pretty easily, being who they're playing. As long as the boys show up and everybody's quote unquote gelled by that time, there should be no excuses for us not to walk away with a round one victory.
I'm just
No,
saying I wouldn't
absolutely.
mind a rematch with Tigres. Just saying.
Absolutely.
Just
No,
saying.
for sure, for sure. I think they ran their mouths last year. Both teams scored equal amount of goals, and they just moved on a technicality, and we need to put them in their place. They behave like animals in our house. We didn't when we went to their house. So
Yeah.
we have to let them know. We have to let them know that was unacceptable. If we can go back to the image of this gentleman, let me go ahead and read this for the benefit of those in audio. Hello from Starlight Stadium in Victoria, BC, Canada. He includes two pictures in it with his 2017 Orlando City kit. This is where OCSC is playing in a few weeks. I've been a supporter since 2015, and while on vacation, I've gone to matches at Exploria and Camping World. And I can't believe the Lions are now coming to my hometown. Let's go, Orlando. And this is Dave Townsend. Dave's connection to Orlando City is a very interesting one because when I spoke with him, I said, hey, you got the Vancouver Whitecaps very close to you. He lives in Victoria, which is the capital of British Columbia, and he's located on the island of Victoria. So going from Victoria itself to Vancouver, you gotta take a ferry. So it's not the fastest, quickest, and cheapest way. So, but he could if he chose to go to home games in Vancouver. He could have chosen to be a Seattle Sounders fan. There's a ferry that he can take and get there relatively fast. But his connection to Orlando is one. He likes to go on vacation to Orlando. His father is from Stoke-on-Trent, hometown of Kay Rollins and Phil Rollins, and I believe also of Inchi, if I'm not mistaken. I could be corrected on that as well. And he also supports Stoke City for that reason. And so yeah, the connection with the founders of the club, and also he was a huge Kaká fan, and so that's what brought him to Orlando. The guy has been supporting us on the West Coast through some of the most horrific seasons. So more power to him. And for Orlando City to be in his hometown, reminding everybody the reason why Calgary is playing in Victoria is because they can't guarantee that the pitch is not going to be frozen. They don't have the capability of keeping their pitch warm enough. Uh, Victoria is a warmer city because it's a coastal city. Calgary is up in the Rockies, so that's basically the reason. I feel really bad for the Calgary fan base because they don't get to see their team. They play in the Canadian Premiership, and the Canadian Premiership was created because FIFA wanted a national league in Canada rather than three teams playing in MLS. They actually tried to force Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver to leave MLS to join the Premiership, and those clubs were like, no, no way, because we know what's going to happen. So the drop in quality, obviously, the players are signed to the league, so the clubs leaving would have meant all that structure stays with the league. So with that said, that's the situation.
Well, real quick,
Yeah, go
David.
ahead.
For those that don't remember the whole thing with Tigres last year, that when they were here and we tied the match late, 1-1, and then stoppage time happened. If I recall correctly, there was supposed to be 5 minutes of stoppage time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the time that the ref keeps, it's his own to keep. But if you look at time of play, the amount of time the ball was in play, it was only about 2.5 minutes. The other 2.5 minutes was taken up by Tigres, being little babies, falling all over the pitch if they got touched or even breathed, a breath of air hit them, they fell down, acting like that, an Orlando City player that was near them should be arrested, taken off in jail, and, sentenced to life in prison for brutally assaulting them.
Absolutely.
So there was only 2.5 minutes played. We unfortunately couldn't get a second goal, which would have moved us on. Rightfully should. There was a lot of fireworks that happened after the match. And by the way, with that first Calvary match, I believe Oscar Pereira has to miss it because he received a red card at the end of that Tigres match last
Wait,
season.
what?
So I believe, yeah, you don't remember that at the end of the Tigres match when
Yes.
everybody down by
Yes.
the
Yeah.
hard goal?
Oh, that
Bobby
carries
got a
over.
red card, so I believe he has to miss the first match our first match here in a couple weeks on the 21st.
Wow.
If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But I believe that carries over to the next year's competition. So he has to miss the first match, or at least be up in the booth for the first match here in a couple weeks. And David, I'm going to let you take the next topic about news around the league, because I know it's one of your favorite things to do since about mid-July last year.
Okay, so I'm assuming we're talking about
Hold on, cue the
the
laugh track. Cue the
Our
laugh
yeah,
track.
little
I
our
know
little
this,
little brother down south.
right, the circus that is happening. I have to tell you, I I'm embarrassed at the fact that I made a video on the channel, on David's channel 76 on YouTube, on my blog, where I said that this was gonna be the outcome. But he came in, he he completely took over League's Cup, and with the help of the ref, nobody's arguing that. And I said maybe I was wrong, so let me take it down because I'm tired of some you know some poor 13-year-old kid walking barefoot in some village in India or Africa to get on my mentions every day and all that. So I took it down, and let this be a lesson, kids. Stick to your guns, because what you know will always come true. Always come true. Always, trust your gut instinct. The league got greedy, and Inter Miami has gone on this world tour of friendlies. They went and played in El Salvador against the El Salvadorian national team, and managed to lose one of their key players for the season. At the end of the game, too, unnecessary. Darwin Seren, former Orlando City player. I'm sorry, that was a cheap, dirty move. I don't wish any young man um, to have an injury like that on a senseless game out of it.
A friendly,
Uh,
yeah, of all the
and a
games.
friendly, absolutely. And that return, there was no. If you look at the injury, how it happens, there was absolutely no reason for it. Absolutely, he should have been sent off 3 or 4 times. I don't know what the ref was thinking. By the way, it was the same ref that officiated over our game against them in League's Cup. This man is a danger to the sport. Shouldn't be anywhere near a stadium unless he's parking cars, selling tortillas, or collecting garbage. I mean, he shouldn't be anywhere. Maybe checking tickets. But anyhow, the fact of the matter is they go there. It's a 0-0. Then they go to Dallas, and Dallas just spanks them 1-0. It spanks them because it was a good matchup, and simply they didn't have an answer. Um, then they go to Saudi Arabia. Everybody wants to match up Pesi and Penaldo. It just doesn't happen because these are two old men that you look at them the wrong way, they get hurt. And they were humiliated. And at that point, people are like, see, the Saudi Arabian league is better. And I argue that that's not the case. I argue to those poor kids, 13-year-old kids that are barefoot in some village in Asia or Africa. I argue to them that uh, this club is not a representation of the league. And then they go to Hong Kong and they have their little fun. And I believe the what's left for them is to go to Argentina to play Messi's childhood club, which is going to be another total circus. The fact of the matter is what we're seeing three things that are key here, guys. We're seeing that all these old men that the league shoves down your throat when you go on Apple Plus, when you go on the digital media. By the way, I would like to remind everybody that Columbus Crew are the champions of the league. You wouldn't know that if you're some guy just checking the league out. In fact, I have people in the comments ask, "Who's the champion? Is it Miami?" I mean, seriously. And if I was a Columbus Crew fan, I would be furious that the league is taking away my the honor and the pride of winning the league. If that was us, I would be in New York City, landing on the next airplane and beating down Don Garber's office door. And I finished with this. So the what has happened is that the league is has become a joke. Look, they're just a retirement league. Look at these old men. This guy's gonna get hurt. Messi's not gonna play. The fact that Inter Miami he's getting away with murder, overcharging people for season tickets on a player that I'm gonna tell you right now. When it happens, oh my god, you guys are lucky I don't have Twitter because I can't, I can be the insufferable self that I can be. Um, when it happens, just think of me. I don't think Pessy, Fifanel Pessy, is going to be going on the road on games. He's gonna play in Miami, Miami exclusively. And if you think that he's gonna come on a Wednesday night, on a rainy Wednesday night in Orlando in May to play Orlando City, it's not gonna happen. It's
They
not gonna
couldn't make
happen.
it. They couldn't.
Go
He
ahead.
couldn't make it to the Hong Kong game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
he's not
because
playing
he's
Hong
saving
Kong,
himself.
and they canceled their Japan leg. They
Did
completely
they?
Wow.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
and
And
that's the
he
other
that's
just
that.
thing.
go to
And
Japan
that's that
after
the two
Hong Kong.
games in Saudi Arabia. He only came in at the end of the second one.
Right.
Yeah.
And they charge a crap load of money
Oh yeah.
because Messi's gonna here.
Yeah.
And people, the thing in Hong Kong is that people flew from other countries to go see this
There were
guy.
people. Yeah, there were somebody posted there were people who were sitting on a mountain so that they could
Wow.
watch the game.
And they get nothing. They got a Messi sitting on the bench acting like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why these
I don't know.
people
I
are
think
upset.
I sent it to you guys. There was that video of everybody asking
Ye-
for a refund.
Yeah,
Yeah. If we
people.
can play it, go ahead. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
let me find it.
And I'm going to be honest. I do, as much as we clown on Messi and Miami, I feel sad for Messi for the sideshow that Inter Miami and the league have turned him into.
Well,
I mean,
because you know what it is. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
this is one of the greatest, if not, arguably, people take his side and say the greatest player of all time, and you can't really. It's very difficult to argue against it. So
Yeah.
they've turned him, somebody that should be an icon of our sport, that should be revered and respected, and they've turned it into a money grab sideshow for no reason, for the by the league, for absolutely no reason other than absolute greed and
Yeah.
hunger for money, and it really is sad.
Yeah, well, it's all about the money. That's what they made it about. And then they stand here and they say to people, "Oh, we're sorry. You're sorry, but you know what? You have him flying all over the country, all over the world. And what do you think? People are going there to see him. So you can't fly. It's like going to it's like Michael Jackson flying over to Hong Kong and then not performing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's like
Right.
you can't. People are going to
Those,
see him. They're not
those
going to
people.
see the 11 other players. They're going to see him, and that's why you're charging what you're charging. So it's like if you're going to do that, make sure he plays. That's
And,
why
and
they're
again,
asking for the
guys,
money back.
this is why I support Orlando City, the institution, the colors,
Yeah.
the club, the badge. You will never, ever, 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 ever see me put player above the club.
Absolutely.
I don't care who it is. You put on purple, I'm gonna cheer you, and we're gonna win and whatever. This is a debacle. I honestly I do not see the fan base that comes with Lionel Messi staying once he leaves. I mean, we have already seen people leave the stadium by the truckload when he gets subbed out. People
Mhm.
demanding refunds when he doesn't play. And like I said, uh, this year I plan to attend the game. And if you're stupid enough to give me money for my tickets at an inflated rate, then you got what you deserve because it's not gonna be here. I'm telling you right now, guys. This man is not going to go to away games. Do you really think that he's gonna play in Miami and then on a Saturday and on Wednesday he's gonna go to Vancouver? Absolutely not. They know what they got. Okay, they know what they got, and they're gonna save him to limp along. Luis Suarez. My God, it's like episode of The Walking Dead. Seeing that man limping along, struggling to get on the positive end of crosses.
Well,
Busquets, Alba. I mean, it really, really. I you know I have said one thing over and over the years, and is that what we lack in talent, what we lack in and everything else we have in travel. Only one league has us beaten in travel. That's the Russian league. Okay, that's it. That's it. The fact of the matter that you put in so many miles. Listen, and I laugh when my friends in Israel complain about going on away days in the Israeli league, a country that at its thinnest point is 9 miles wide, and tip to tip is like going from Jacksonville to Miami. And they complain about travel. They complain about travel. They had the audacity to complain about travel. My friends in England, they're like, "Oh my god, this game is gonna be a round trip of 6 hours. That's one way to Atlanta." And I know people that have like gone to the game and driven right back in the same day. It's insane. The fact is that Messi doesn't have it, not because he lack of heart, lack of stamina, lack of willing. Is because he's an old man. And I use the term loosely because obviously he's still in his 30s, much younger than me. But for the game of football, he's an old man, finished.
Yeah,
Okay, and he's soiling his legacy for $50 million. That's all, and whatever else. And
that
I
was
get
his
it.
choice, though. That
Yeah,
was his
hey,
choice.
listen, he wanted to have his kids living in Miami and all that. God bless him.
But I mean, come on, he could have done that anyway. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he could have gone to Saudi Arabia and have the Pepsi Penaldo battle on a weekly basis. But I get it.
well, I don't know if you guys saw, but this year, if you have season tickets, you get 2 free tickets to an away match. It is official. The Miami match is not included in that.
Of course it isn't.
Yeah, come on.
What should they do us any favors?
Yeah.
Can somebody tell me that? No.
And the saddest part about it is the league. Think about the decisions they make in between seasons, restructuring the roster rules and the salary cap and all that thing, all those things. Just take Messi joining MLS and the opportunity that this clown of a commissioner the MLS has in Don Garber, who, when he got the job or was offered the job, said he didn't give a lick about football or about soccer, and still shows he doesn't give a lick about it, and that he is just there for his own gain, his own financial gain. So instead of taking advantage and becoming an icon of the sport in this country, Don Garber decided to take, like I was saying, one of the greatest players ever and turn him into the greatest sideshow ever from a sport that should never have sideshows like that. It builds its own drama. Just
He's
look
at
at
the
what
same.
happened this past week with Duncan. That's soccer's own drama. And a match wasn't even played. So he took the greatest opportunity, maybe next to Pele joining New York back in the 70s or 80s, whenever that was.
The Cosmos, New York Cosmos.
Yeah. Maybe next to that, to have this sport that the three of us love so much and take it to levels we never thought was possible in our lifetime. Instead, they're sitting here touring around the world like a circus and making the MLS a laughing stock league to the rest of the world. When we all know that it 100% isn't. When we all know Miami isn't getting close to the playoffs this year. Not as close as they got last year because the league got stronger, the league got younger, and all Miami did was get older and get rid of all their young players. I mean, that defense they have down there, you could drive a semi-truck through that and still score a goal. And what the league did with this opportunity they have is terrible. And if the owners that do care about this league had any guts about them, they would remove Don Garber before the season begins, because I am sick and tired of watching this
Yeah.
sideshow and this league virtually go nowhere.
If this team, because they're logging on a lot of mileage, if those guys are gonna have a very tough first 2 months of the year. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But every MLS fan, everybody that cares about football in the United States or Canada right now, pray to your deity of choice. And if you are not a believer in a higher power, then I don't know, light sage, whatever it is that you do. Um, the fact of the matter is, we all should be rooting for this team to finish at the bottom of the table because it will show the world you could bring some of the biggest names, you could make the biggest circus, and still the football wins because football, like we have said before, and I would like to repeat it again, it's cruel and unpredictable. It's not played on paper, it's played on grass. And football is a pound of talent and an ounce of luck. And we say those things week after week after week after week to drill the concept that you could act a fool and still not get anywhere. Messi got here when they were 15th on the in the East. He left them at 14th. They were at the top, bottom three teams in the league, and I'm on record. The fact that they won Leagues Cup was by design, and they have a bye in the first league of Leagues Cup. They are going to be embarrassed by a Mexican team. They are going to be because listen, Mexicans and at international level, they have a lot of bones to pick with Argentina. And if you think that Messi is gonna get the welcome that he got in Hong Kong, you are up for a surprise. You are up for a surprise. He knows, we know, this is all about the money. And like I said, I no love lost with Inter Miami. I think they came to the league thinking, hey, they have been bad all this time. We're gonna use them as a doormat, and surprise, 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 we embarrass you on MLS's back, thanks to that beautiful man, Nani, Chris Mueller, who represented our colors, because that's the difference between us and a team that chooses pink as their color. You should be embarrassed. Pink, pink. A grown man walking around in a pink. It looks like
Hey,
either.
Arnold Palmer walked around wearing pink. That guy was a man.
Oh, okay, no, I got you. Me personally, I don't wear pink. It just doesn't suit me. Purple makes me look beautiful more than I already am. But the fact is, guys, whatever. I pray. I pray to Almighty God that when we go down there for the second game of the season, we go and we beat them in such a way that I will never, never, never hear anything other than the pain landing in every village in Asia and Africa for every FIFANEL Pessy fan that has dedicated themselves to try to mock us. Try, because they can, baby. I mean, we have too much pride for that. For the last year and a half. That's what we need. So, with that, guys, if there's anything else, so this is now we're going
Yeah,
over the hour.
just that the badge is the club is always bigger than the players, bigger than the coaches, bigger than the front office. Without the club, nothing would be here. Club first, everybody else second. So, you're either for the badge or you're not. If you're not, bye bye. All right. With that being said, speaking of the guys that are currently with the club right now, we'll move on and look at the roster as it is right now, and give our opinions on how we feel about the roster, since it appears that most of our signings are most of our transactions are going to be finalized here soon, here in the next couple of days anyway. um so this is what we're looking like right now. This is our roster. This does not have Muriel on it because it's not been finalized yet. Brecalo is on there because, according to sources, it has been finalized. It just needs to be announced by the club. So this is it. For those listening, basically our strikers are Duncan Mcguire, that's pending if his transfer his loan to Blackburn upholds. Then we got Enrique and Jack Lynn. Left wing, we have Angulo and Ojeda. Center attacking mid, Lodero and Loyola. Right wing is Torres and Mohammed. Center midfielders are Cartagena, Merkovich, Arujo, Felipe, and Kuchevsky. Left back, Santos, Smith, Reed Brown. Reed Brown, I'm very excited to see him play. Left center back is Janssen and Williams. Right center back is Brekalo, Schlegel, and Salim. And right back is DDT, Holiday, and Freeman. And then our goalkeepers are Gillespie, Stajuhar, and Otero. How do you guys feel, Ahmed, about the roster? And then I'll give my opinions last this time.
I mean, again, a lot of changes. I'm optimistic about it. I really am. I think we'll do well. We need to come out in mid-season form. That's my thing. Because we really haven't had too many changes. I'm looking forward to the additions that we've had and how the new pieces will fit in. So it's not like we've revamped. I feel like last season at the beginning, it was a lot more new faces at the same time. So it's not as drastic a revamp. I'm just concerned that we have all these tournaments coming up and it's going to be like one after the other. And then on top of the tournaments, we have the regular season. So we need to come out like guns blazing because this is where it comes back to bite us at the end of the season if we're not in that form. So I'm curious as to how that backline is going to perform though because of the changes. That's probably for me the more uncertain part right now. It's going to be interesting to see that dynamic back there. What do you all think?
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my comments short. I think the club understands the needs. I really don't understand the sometimes when people are like, "We're doing nothing," come on, opening day, we're not gonna have enough of a squad. I mean, come on. But anyhow, fact of the matter is that we have some needs, as John has pointed out. I think they are going to be filled with competent individuals. Um, and I expect the best, simply the best. I think as a club, the Will family understands that for the last 2 years, since they have taken over the club, we won a trophy in 2022. In 2023, we finished second in the league, our best finish ever. We were undone by the cruelty of the sport at home, and we were very close. We were very close, and this year we have to go and get it done. 10 seasons in MLS. True, the first five forgettable, but I think we have the money, we have the will, and I'm gonna say, Oscar Pareja, he's coaching for his job. He's coaching for his job, and I'm gonna say it one more time, he's coaching for his job because he has to deliver. Because he has been given more time than any other Orlando City manager in our history. Also, you know, I think it's fair for us to say, hey, I support this team. I spend my money. Blah 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 blah. I want to see results. Finishing second in the league is like kissing your cousin. Felt great. Can't brag about it. People are gonna think you're a weirdo. So that's how it is, guys. That's how it is. So more power to the club. I think there should be some signings that are gonna be surprising. And going back to Duncan, if Duncan is gonna be with us the first half of the season, is a guy. Think about it. He already said goodbyes. He already cleaned his locker room. He already put in that card to have his mail sent to England. He already shut down the electric bill. He already, shut down the water bill. He already turning his car, and to come back a week later, to say, just kidding. That man is coming with a chip on his shoulder, and like everybody says, a wounded animal is a dangerous one.
Yeah, I mean, we have 26 of 30 possible spots filled right now. Um, add Muriel to it, 27 out of 30. You'd really like to see that be 30 out of 30 to start the year. Um, I was really hopeful going into the offseason we were going to make a big signing with an attacking midfielder. Um, not really thinking Duncan was going to go anywhere because he did only have one good year. But with Duncan seemingly wanting to leave the club now, um, bringing in a DP striker, especially with the quality Ladero is going to bring, is very good. So I'm excited to see what Muriel does. I mean, you look at this. There's people, the pundits are talking, if you will. People that really like our team, really feel that we have a strong team. Especially if we bring Muriel in and he's able to be a goal scorer for us, a DP goal scorer that we haven't really ever had a DP striker that scores for us. I mean, Nani did, but he was more of a winger. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see what what the front office is able to put together over the next couple weeks, going into the opening match on the 24th, or the opening match of the Champions Cup on the 21st. So we'll see. But as the roster stands, I feel like it's a strong roster. Even if we have Enrique or Jacqueline playing as our number 9, those are, Jacqueline won MVP of MLS Next Pro last year for a reason. He was the Golden Boot winner for MLS Next Pro for a reason. And by the way, he is older than Duncan, believe it or not. I believe Jacqueline's 24, 25, and Duncan, I believe, just turned 23 or 24. So he has a year or two on Duncan, and
Happy birthday to Duncan. Today was his birthday.
Yeah, true.
No, no.
That is very true. I forgot about that. But adding Muriel is just going to add quality to an already pretty decent, very decent lineup, and could be one that we see bring a title home to Orlando. I mean, there's even people talking about us winning Champions Cup. Like there was a guy from, I want to say it was Nashville, I saw on Twitter when it was rumored Muriel was coming to Orlando, and he goes, "Great, who's stopping Orlando in the Champions Cup and the MLS now?" Because that's pretty good. I never thought 5 years ago anybody would be saying that about Orlando City, and now here we are going into a season with some steam. And I don't want to hear any excuses come the season. There's a preseason for a reason. We said it last year. That's time for guys to gel, and the new additions have to step in or, be left off the squad because they're not gelling with their team, because we have enough players there that were with the team and did gel with the guys that are still with our team last year, that there should be no adjustment period for basically anybody. You either step in or get replaced, in my opinion. So, we'll see. It's an exciting season. It's going to be a long season. I think they have a chance to play, all said and done, Leagues Cup, U.S. Open Cup, and Champions Cup. And the league. It's right around 50 matches, which is a lot.
For sure. All we can it's just hope and pray that we do good. That's about it. Next Monday we'll have another show, and we're gonna be talking about looking forward to a competitive match for the first time in 2024. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. Long trip out to Victoria, British Columbia. But I feel that the boys can do it. The talent gap is there, and I think that we can, just go and do well. Then after that, we open the season against Montreal, who have a chip over their shoulder and want to, ruin our parade. We have never lost the opening game. There's always going to be a first. Hopefully, it's not going to be this year. And then after that, we're gonna go down to face
our little brother.
Right, exactly. The little goat down in Miami. So we want to thank everybody that watched us live. Everybody that's gonna be listening to this on audio. Everybody's gonna be watching the video later on. Thank you very much. We appreciate um, your support. Let friends know that we are here. And thank you, John, for taking the lead today. I wasn't feeling on my best. Had a service call in Jacksonville, completely beat up. In fact, I slept for 2.5 hours before the show. So yeah. So hopefully, we shine some light on what's going on with Orlando City. Hopefully, you guys had a good time. And with that, John, take us out.
Yeah, as David was saying, thank you everybody that tuned in and listened. As a reminder, you can always catch us on your favorite audio platforms. The show will be on there. Catch updates on our social media on Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, and X is at On the Capo Stand. Facebook is On the Capo Stand, and I forgot Instagram. Instagram is also on the Capo Stand. As always, catch us Mondays live at 9 right here on YouTube, Twitch, X, and Facebook. And as always, Vamos Orlando.